We are back today with very interesting topic that is beyond surveillance, efficiency, and security. So we're going to talk about you know uh, the webinar very focused on remote monitoring. So in our rapidly evolving world, where remote work and digital operations have become the norms, digital operation have become the norms. Ensuring the security of assets, facility, and people remains a paramount concern for businesses and organization alike. So, video management software has emerged as a potent ally in this quest, empowering organizations to seamlessly monitor, analyze, and manage video feeds from diverse sources, even when they are scattered across remote locations. In today's webinar, we aim to provide you with invaluable insights into harnessing the formidable capabilities of video management software to fortify the security of your assets and operations, regardless of your geographical locations. To foster active engagement and participation, we have arranged dynamic interaction with our experts, Vamshi and Srini. So we encourage you, once Vamshi completes his presentation, to share your questions in the Q&A box down. And also, if you want to directly interact on the call, so please raise your hand and we will ensure that the discussion of your points is engaged with the speakers. So let's embark on this journey together, exploring cutting-edge possibilities of video management software and enhancing our understanding how it can safeguard your organization in the digital age. Myself, Dominic. I've been in the fire industry and security industry quite long, over 34 years. So VMS has been my very interesting subject that we are covering since the last 1.5 years because of AI and video analytics. So how do we enhance the existing system? So we have so many camera across. Do we have EMS in it? Can we really understand? Can we make the entire surveillance very intelligent and very necessity to my requirement? So I would like to introduce the organization called Durang, who has been continuously engaged in creating awareness and also making a point that it's a 100% make in India organization. The software is developed by Durang team in Hyderabad. So Durang vision is to help businesses and organizations maximize the potential of their surveillance camera. To do this, they have built a secure, reliable, and cost-effective video platform that provides users with deep, intelligent analytics and insights in real time. Founded in 2015, they gathered a highly talented global team to create cloud-based platform. Durang innovative video streaming and storage technology offers client the ultimate in video surveillance functionality delivered seamlessly from the cloud. They have headquartered in Nashville, USA, R&D center in Helsinki, Finland, and development center and global support located in Hyderabad, India. So your Mr. Srini and Vamshi is a familiar face in India when it comes to VMS. So Srini, the CRO of Durang Tech Services, is been in the business for 22 years in diverse experience in various industries, ranging from financial market to real estate, automobile to IT. His global experience and extensive travel gave him keen understanding of world markets. His passion has been to identify, create innovative products and solutions and make them available to the market that need them. His passion for developing innovative ideas has made him a serial entrepreneur, funding and advising many startup companies in India. So, co-founder and CEO of Durang Inc., the leading provider of VMS and analytics as a service. Video surveillance and analytics as a service. He has been instrumental in shaping the product design and features and providing market insight. Being a voracious reader and extensive traveler, is a strong believer in the concept of innovative ideas coupled with strategic implementation and commercialization lead to creation of jobs and wealth. This mantra can lead corporate India to become world economic leader. That's a belief our speaker today, Mr. Srinivas, has in the system. So we have Vamshi, CEO of Durang Tech Services. He has over 25 years of cross-functional management experience in project management, operation, technology, infrastructure, people, and customer management. He has many experiences in dealing with cross-cultural teams and customers from across the globe, including US, Europe, South Africa, and Middle East. As the head of operation in Durang for over 8 years, he has overseen development, implementation, and support of cutting-edge Durang Vision Smart Surveillance solution. With strong focus on quality, he has spearheaded the implementation of ISO 9001:2015 and ISO 27001 for product development and technical support process within the organization. As a technical evangelist, he advocates and helps customers benefit and understand the limitation of the technological innovations in the surveillance industry. So, as we said in the beginning, how do you remotely monitor your assets and properties in the scattered locations? So let's hear. I would welcome Srini to give an open remarks, followed by Vamshi. Over to Srini.
Thanks, Dominic, and welcome everybody. Thanks a lot for participating in the webinars and giving us the chance to explain the latest developments in video surveillance industry and potential opportunities to apply it to your specific fields of interest, be it for the safeguarding of the human life or preventing and mitigating the theft, risk management, and also protecting the assets. Primarily, the CCTV has always been in the forefront for the last 2 decades to make sure that protection and safety of the people and assets been primordial opportunity through that. The fundamental change and the fundamental shift in the basic way how this CCTV has been implemented is progressively changing, and a lot of technological implementations are coming into the field, and Durang is one of them, which actually is forefront of these new innovations. Primarily, Dominic, if you see, the silo implementations of the CCTV has brought many difficulties for small to medium to large enterprises. Be it like what Ms. Rupa was saying about the large substations across the geography where they need to be monitored from the central command control, not just with the eyeball monitoring, but proactively preventing the possibilities of theft and the possibilities of loss of life. And that's where Durang has created a huge platform for managing all these disconnected, distributed CCTV installations to a central command control. Today's topic about how we actually help the guarding companies, right? Where they have a large number of customers, but they need to monitor them, not just with the physical guarding, but also with the electronic surveillance in a remote monitoring process. There is a possibility of enhancing the physical security with the electronic guarding. Mere simple ICCC integrated command control on a local premises is not going to suffice the entire problem-solving situation. That was the second phase of CCTV's paradigm. Initially, it was like individual isolated installations of CCTV. Then there is a command control system that was promoted and supported. And that was basically an on-premises basis for a localized, monitoring by the guards along with their physical guarding. But today, every organization got massively multiple locations, all need to be centrally commanded, centrally monitored, and reducing the price and the cost and the budgets within what they need to do is where we actually fit in, right? So our approach to the guarding companies is we help them provide this technological tool where they can use this system and then guard multiple customers at the same time, where their individual agent sitting in their command control can monitor multiple sites, not with the eyeball monitoring, but proactive event-based monitoring. So when you get an alert, it's the inbound alert that actually prompts the agent to take an action on top of it. If you give that possibility, then you are actually reducing the overall cost to the customer. But the guarding company doesn't need to get away from the physical guarding. Physical guarding can never be replaced by the electronic guarding.
I think that's a fear, Srini. When I was inviting few of the guarding company, I think it's going to enhance your capability when
Correct.
you have a guarding large. It could be a big corporate companies there. So they said, no. If you start implementing this, our revenue will come down, and the guarding will. There's a fear. I don't know. I'm quite interested how Vamshi is going to address this. Is it going to amplify or probably add an advantage to them, or is it? So I don't know how they're going to see that. Let's see. This webinar would be eye-opening for them.
Correct. That skepticism about the guarding company losing the physical guards may be one of the concern. But if you look at the overall picture at top down, adding your electronic security with a remote guarding possibility is actually enhancing the opportunity of providing more service to the customer, and limited amount of shift from physical guarding to the electronic guarding actually readjusts its budgetary thing. That's why we work very closely with every guarding company. When there is a requirement from their customers, we do work with them like a partner and then try to make it happen so that the budgetary allocations can be worked out in both ways, where it can be win-win to the guarding company, to the Durang as a solution provider, and to the end customer who doesn't need to waste their money, right? So whenever there is a possibility of reducing the budget and then enhancing the possibility of the solution-driven opportunity to prevent the theft and risk mitigation. So all these are combined to one single thing, where by implementing Durang, that to cloud-based VSaaS can give you that opportunity. Having said that, I'll request Vamshi to take up and drive the presentation, and we'll address all the questions at the end.
Thank you, Srini. Vamshi, over to you.
Thank you for the opening remarks that set the stage for the presentation now in terms of what we would like to cover. Let me share my screen here. I hope it's visible now. So we will address the question that Dominic raised in terms of how electronic guarding or remote guarding would augment what is happening in the physical guarding space. Typically, when we look at the physical guarding space and the security guarding space, this is what is the current scenario. If you deploy a set of security guards at customer premises, they would be taking care of the security of the location. They will probably do a round if it is a large premises, a factory premises, for example, manufacturing facility. They would be touring around the property, whether it's mining kind of things. So you have these guards going around the property at fixed intervals during the night, etc. And then if there is something that they observe, probably you have the quick response teams that is responding to these events based on sensors. Maybe you have some sensors deployed across, and there are some challenges with using just the sensors. We will probably come to that a little later, but you respond to your quick response teams through as a response to the sensor alarms that you get. But most of these deployments, they have CCTV. This is ubiquitous now. There's not a place where CCTV cameras have not invaded. So everywhere you have CCTVs, but they are in silo. Each location will have its own setup. Each location has set of cameras that are recording there locally, and that data is watched by only the security guards of that premises typically. So they also may not be watching all the time because 24/7 monitoring is not easy and it's very. But that's basically how the cameras are, and they are used for evidence management purposes. If something is identified, something is reported, then you go back to check the recording to find out what exactly happened. Do the diagnostic, and then gather the evidence for it to take appropriate action. That is what CCTVs are used typically at each of these locations. There are limited, if at all any, proactive alert mechanisms. There are some places where people are using cameras that have some kind of a capability to provide alerts based on basic motion detection kind of a thing. There are some setups like that, but typically they are very limited in terms of getting alerts to the security guards. So these are typically highly human dependent scenarios. If you're managing multiple locations of a particular customer, then the dependency on individuals' capabilities and commitments becomes huge. You have to depend a lot on each individual's capabilities as well as commitment levels. So that is something that we definitely needs to be addressed, because not everybody, especially at this value chain of guards, you cannot expect the same level of expertise or technology savviness or commitment levels, etc. This becomes makes it less efficient than what you intend the solution to be provided to your customer. So how do we see the need for remote guarding services? Is this need is actually increasing, whether it is provided by a remote guarding company or whether it is done in-house by the organization, the enterprise itself, connecting their multiple locations. We have seen cases where an enterprise is asking for a solution which connects all their existing locations and gives them a centralized view of all their cameras. So this is the point that I would like to address as part of your question, part address to that question, Dominic, that whether there is a requirement now that customer is looking for to centralize their security operations, whether remote guarding companies take up a part of that pie by providing the services through them, or they let it go and have the customer implement their own solutions for centralized monitoring and they do their monitoring themselves. So you let go of that pie is the question we need to first address, rather than looking at, if I implement this remote guarding services, will I lose a part of my existing business? So more than that, we'll have to look at that aspect also. There is always pros and cons for any new technology or implementation. But when you look at the pros, most often than not, they outweigh the disadvantages. So there are quite a few requests that we also get directly also, wherein customers say we have X number of locations and we are looking for a solution that can combine and provide us centralized monitoring capability. So there is a definite need for that. And even so, through remote guarding services, there is a growing demand now because security and safety is becoming a top concern for every organization or individual. And the less headache the customer has in terms of ensuring safety and security, the more he can focus on his core business. So more often than not, even though they start off with their own monitoring in some cases, they would be more than willing to provide that or take that as a service from a remote guarding company who is able to provide this as an additional service to them, rather than their team having to watch all these cameras and keep monitoring or keep an eye on those premises. So there is a definite need and demand for this kind of a service. But then when remote guarding services are already there in the picture now, they're already providing some services to a few customers as of now, covering whether it is monitoring of ATMs, monitoring of manufacturing facilities, factories, etc. There are companies that are providing that, but typical challenges that they face in terms of providing this as a service to their customers is there are multifold issues that they face. Some of them not related, some of them related to our specific solution that we can provide. The first one is the technology reliability. When you want to connect to multiple locations and provide this as a remote service, then there should be an ability to connect to these different locations. There may be multiple different types of networks there. There may be different types of installations of CCTV infrastructure. By that, we mean different types of NVRs, different types of DVRs, different types of cameras, make and models will be different. Some PTZ cameras, some analog cameras, IP cameras. So many variations could be there because these implementations might have happened at different periods of time or over a period of time. So is there an ability by the remote guarding service provider wherein he can say, yeah, no matter what you have, I will be able to connect and provide. There is no need for you to change your existing cameras. If he can give that confidence to the customer, automatically it becomes easy. One roadblock gets eliminated completely, and you as a service provider or as a remote guarding service provider, you will be able to take up services for customers who have disparate infrastructures there. When you use technologies, maybe you're already using some technologies. Maybe there are different technologies you are using, some to connect, some to have alerts for you, some for tracking of these alert management, etc. How reliable are they? And how are you able to manage that? Whether you have flexibility in terms of using what is required for each customer, because each customer may have his own requirements in terms of standard operating procedures, for example. So these kind of things need to be addressed by the technology or the service that you are utilizing in providing the services to your customers. Obviously, the next point is crucial these days with data security and privacy. Most of the customers are wary about this, they're concerned about it. Even the remote guarding services are also aware of this issue, that when they are able to access from their premises, is it possible that somebody else will access this camera? That is the first concern the customer would ask. Okay, you are monitoring from your office, but then would somebody else have access to it too? Because it's now going out into the network, into the internet or whatever way. So that is a concern that needs to be addressed by the tools that you are using while providing this as a service.
Yes,
Unauthorized.
that's a good point, Vamshi. Most of the time the implementations are not considering the security of those devices, whether they are NVRs or DVRs, which are locally deployed. And the testing is not done because most of the time they are open to the open public, networks. And there is a possibility of somebody breaking into those devices very easily. That's a concern that need to be addressed at a bigger level and in a technical aspect. And protection of these has to be done when you have multi-location implementations that happens with multiple kind of devices that goes into the field. Apart from that, the point that I'm trying to touch base on, the point third one is, whenever you have the remote guarding that you are doing, whether you are doing in-house or whether it is provided by a service provider, the solution that is been used should have a proper mitigation of false alarms. Because if you see, if there are too many false alarms, it becomes at some point the real one is actually lost in the noise. And that noise prevention is very, very important. And the alert fatigue that happens to most of the agents that sit in the command control room is actually overwhelming when it comes to motion-based alerts, motion-based analysis that is done at the field. You keep on getting bombarded with multiple number of alerts which are non-relevant. And that noise actually can, create a lot more problems than not addressing the real one. So that's another thing that the solution has to have a proper addressed, approach.
That point actually gives rise to the fourth point as well, wherein the more number of false alarms that you are getting, the more number of resources you would need, because you cannot let go of any incident without reviewing it. So every incident that is triggered must be reviewed by an agent to see if it is real alert or not. Otherwise, you have a chance of missing one. And even if you miss one incident, you will have an issue with the customer. So you don't want to miss any event that's triggered. So unless you have a right tool and the technology that eliminates these false alarms for you, your resource allocation will be addressed properly only in that scenario. So reducing of the false alarms has a direct impact on in terms of your resource allocation and the scalability that you have. And then it also is important what kind of training and skills are required for the monitoring agents. These are obviously at a lower level of the spectrum in terms of their technical skills. Even so, how easy it is for them now? Do they have to deal with multiple tools, multiple technologies, and multiple tools on their system to be able to monitor, to be able to respond to an event? For example, do they have to lift a phone and talk to somebody if they observe something has happened at a camera? Do they have to do multiple clicks to open that particular camera view? How easy it is for them when an incident is triggered, whether they are immediately able to see the camera view live there, or they have to follow certain tools and processes. And these tools may be different based on the different types of incidents, because some customer may use X tool, and then if you are using that X tool, he has to open that tool, get to that camera, watch that camera, and then pick up the phone if at all required, and then talk to them. So how easy it is for the entire process flow, or training of these different tools becomes very critical. So the seamless that you can provide to the tool, the same tool that you can use for doing most of these things, how easy you make it for the user makes it easy for you, because there will be a lot of churn also in these skills, the people with these skill sets. So it's important that you have the right tool that enables you seamless training. Once they are trained, there may be slight updates that keep going on, but then it's not like you have to teach them 10 different softwares, 10 different tools to be able to respond to incidents. And the same thing for different customers also. Each customer may have a different requirement. Some customers say you talk to specific response teams of their location, of that location. So you need to have the right contact details for each location, whether the contact details pop up automatically for you or not with the software. Or you will have to go dig through who is the correct person for this particular location and then do it. Or the customer may define a different aspect. He may say, sound a hooter alarm for me when this happens. So you'll have to read through that standard operating procedure for each customer. So the communication channels for each customer could be different also when you're providing this service for different customers. So how easy we can make it is a challenge also. So we need to ensure that these are properly addressed in order to provide the right service at the expected, service levels from each customer. So in addressing most of these points, a proper enterprise scale cloud video surveillance system, video management system would come to the aid of it. Your size of your operations, etc., will determine the kind of optimal software or the solution that you would need. However, you focus typically on your customer acquisition, your resource management, and SOPs, not bother about the technology issues that crop up, because technology keeps changing day by day, and it is the solution provider who will ensure that the technology is up to date. So you don't have to worry about technological advancements or challenges. You focus on your customer acquisition, ensure that you are providing the right service to your customers. Whereas the proper VMS solution that you use will provide you with all these benefits of ensuring that your centralized system, you can manage your entire system centrally from your monitoring service center with a single platform. You have health management and you get timely alerts if at all any camera is down, for example, how seamlessly you can get hold of it. Are you able to see immediately all the cameras that are down to ensure that you can immediately take up action on it? What kind of scalability the system provides to you in terms of ensuring that you can add up more cameras of the same customer, or when you onboard a new customer, how easy it is to add up those new cameras in new locations is an important aspect of it. Your user management as well, in terms of ensuring that the agents have the right access levels. You have a supervisor who can review the incidents that are happening. So how easy it is for them to be able to manage is another important aspect in terms of various users that you can create in the platform and give the right users access to the right events or right locations, right customers, etc. And ensuring your bandwidth management. Typically, this becomes a challenge when you have multiple customers, cameras coming from multiple locations. The bandwidth requirements, the internet connectivity requirements would be quite high. So, what is when the solution that you are using, how does it manage the required bandwidth, how much optimization it provides? For example, when your agents are monitoring, are they getting multiple streams from that same location? Are they getting a single stream from that location to ensure that bandwidth is optimized? It becomes very critical in terms of managing the overall costs of the operation. And then incidents, when they are tracked, when they are triggered in the platform, do you have the proper track of what happened to that incident? Who has acted upon that incident? What time the incident was triggered, the alert came, what time, and who looked at that event, and what was the action taken by him? Whether any escalation happened for that event? If that escalation happened, who acted on that escalation? Who watched it at what time? And what is the final action taken? And whether that what time that incident is closed? So this entire track of what is the action taken for that incident, from the alarm getting triggered to the final closure of that alarm, is very important. And whether you have the system, whether that system allows you to track the entire process flow and gives you a overall view of every incident is important. So the entire tracking is also an important aspect of the solution that you use as part of the VMS. So when we talk about the Durand platform, we said when you have multiple locations, the bigger challenges are what kind of cameras that you have, different customers having different cameras, whether all of them can come into a single solution, one platform, to be able to provide the service as a monitoring for different customers, different cameras. So the solution, the Durand has the capability to connect to any maker model of camera, be it analog camera, IP camera, whatever resolutions you have for the cameras, whatever frame rates that you have, bit rates you have, etc. So all of that can be connected. Whether you have a static IP or whether you do not have a static IP, you can connect using multiple networks. Some customers provide you VPN access. For example, most of these cases where you are providing service, customers may say, use my VPN. VPN becomes its own challenge. You may have to deal with firewalls, different firewalls. There is a different technology involved to be able to connect through VPN, opening of the ports. All of this creates their own complexities, and you don't want to be mired in those kind of complexities. You need the solution to be as simplified as possible from a user perspective. How easy it is for you to securely get the camera feed is important,
Yeah.
irrespective of the type of network.
One point to make here, Vamshi, that kind of a network scenarios, it's a very common in every kind of a customer thing. Some customers will have a broadband, some in some locations, and some of the customers, they have broadband in the end location, one other location, and multiple vehicles which needs cameras to be put inside inside those vehicles. Whether it is a jewelry getting transported or cash getting transported, or ambulance transporting a patient. Those kind of scenarios, it's a mix and match of all these scenarios in terms of how the cameras are getting connected and how easy it is for the customer to bring that cameras into one of the single platform. That's where one of this USP, it becomes easy for any provider using Durand to connect all these multi-networks and then bring those cameras onto the platform, whether to offsite storage in the cloud, or whether it is for the live monitoring, or whether the alert-based event monitoring. All these with multiple bandwidths can networks can be done.
Definitely. So that is the core aspect of the ability to provide remote guarding services. And then the second aspect is in terms of the scalability and the flexibility the solution would offer to you in terms of adding new cameras, as we talked about, how easy it is to add up new cameras, add up newer functionalities. Let's say each customer may have a different requirement in terms of their SOPs. Somebody may say if anybody enters or there is an intrusion, you give me immediate alarm and we take up this action. Somebody may say, I don't care if there may be people walking, but if anybody spends more than X amount of time, then you give me an alert. So the SOPs could vary for people. So your solution should be flexible enough to take in those inputs and tune it according to that and raise alarms or take up actions based on that. So how easy the system provides you this flexibility becomes very critical as well. And
Yeah.
from a user training perspective, using a browser-based interface without complex UI interfaces.
Yeah, like you said, Vamshi, what we have seen is multiple case scenarios where someone want to just switch on the lights when the intrusion happens, or some wants to, switch on the hooter, along with sending the message to the supervisor and a WhatsApp message, along with the, alert going into the command control. So all these mix and matches has to be perfectly aligned for the scalability, because customers need actually changes multiple times, and you should be able to quickly adapt those and then provide those services. So that's the scalability of the solution is very much required for the changing requirement of the customers.
Yeah, and that also gives rise to the point that we spoke about earlier in terms of security. When you're doing centralized management, the ability to group critical cameras to ensure that you are always focused on that, irrespective of who the customer is. For customer X, there are these number of 3-4 cameras that are very critical, and there are other 2-3-4 cameras of another customer that are very critical. So you should be able to group those cameras and monitor all of them together, irrespective of the locations. These 4-5 cameras of a customer could be from different geographies, different locations, does not matter. So these 4 cameras of customer X, another 3 cameras of customer Y, another 4 cameras of customer Z, you should be able to bring in together, group them, and watch them together live at the same time, irrespective of where they are coming from, and ensuring that they are all securely brought into the platform. You have authorized users only accessing this. So security is inbuilt, entire data is encrypted end to end, both in the transit when picking up from the source to the platform to the agent that is monitoring on his browser or on his system. So entire flow is end to end encrypted in the platform with zero trust security models. And you can also control who has access to what kind of cameras or what kind of events, alerts, etc. So security is paramount in the entire platform.
So maintaining the logs for all these connected people, and then what they are doing, what their activities are happening. That's another aspect that we need to keep on for the future look back. And having said that, again, when it comes to the reducing the cost, it is always important that one agent, how we can actually make him efficient to monitor more number of cameras with more effectiveness, and that's actually helps in terms of reducing the cost. And that's the fourth pillar where we have AI interoperability that comes into the picture. Go ahead, Vamshi.
So basically, with the mix of AI in the picture, so the enabler is the electronic security. So you have the cameras that are coming in that enable the CCTV is the enabler. So then the power is enhanced through the use of AI and computer vision techniques, which will eliminate the false alarms and give you the only in the alarms only for the proper incidents, actual events that get triggered in the platform, so that your energies can be focused on actual events rather than having to worry about whether this is true or not, go back and check the recordings, etc. So you have an image of that event also along with the live view of the particular camera easily. So eliminating the false alarms becomes critical when providing these services, and also APIs to integrate.
Just to add to another point, in this, when the AI interoperability with the VMS has been created, you have the possibility of using the FR, the facial recognition for the staff or unknown, or for the known threats that happen with known culprits. All that should be built into the system, which is already done. And you have ability to apply ANPR on any camera. It doesn't need to be a ANPR camera, but you can use a regular camera to do the ANPR, and do lot more analytics on single individual feed that comes in. Like one feed you get from one camera, you do multiple processes on it. Like one process may be like opposite direction vehicle you are monitoring. The other process is if there is intrusion of an individual that is coming in, eliminating animals or cats or dogs, so that there is no false alarm. All these analytics should be able to apply on any camera feed. irrespective of what is the functionality of that camera. It may be analog camera, it may be IP camera. If you get enough feed, enough resolution, you should be able to apply those analytics for the higher processing, and that actually reduces your cost and ability for the agent to do monitoring of more number of cameras and more number of locations.
Yeah, definitely. And then the integrations also help in terms of automatically sounding a hooter alarm or automatically sending out this notification to specific people or specific applications that you would like to integrate with, etc. So the system provides those well-defined APIs for the ease of interoperability with external systems. We spoke about connectivity, so we wanted to probably highlight this aspect because this becomes very critical, and this is the base for everything else that we are talking about. Whether we want to apply the analytics on top of the camera to provide the remote services itself, the first aspect is that we should be able to get the video feed securely to the monitoring center from each location. There are two typical ways in which connectivity is established. When location has a static IP, the location does not have a static IP. There is a third case, which is basically, even though there is a static IP, in some cases customers are unwilling to do port forwarding because of, again, cybersecurity threats and issues. So that comes into the state of kind of without static IP itself, because they are not willing to provide the port forwarding. But typically for customers who are having a static IP at each location and they say, yeah, I can provide you port forwarding, I can give you access to my NVRs or DVRs. The connectivity is then there is nothing else required by the remote guarding company from their side. All that is required from the customer is they should give access to it, and you simply add the camera to the platform by taking up the camera details, the access details from that particular camera, if the username, password, and the IP address, etc. With the port forwarding, you don't need anything else on the site. You simply directly get access to that camera from your command control center. So to your command control center, to get the camera feed, there is nothing else required from the customer, as long as he gives the access through port forwarding if they have static. That becomes the simplest way of connectivity, and you can monitor any number of locations like this without having to have any device on site. Makes it easy for maintenance, etc. But the second scenario is when they don't have a static IP, or it's not possible to have a static IP, or they don't want to provide, they're not willing to provide. Three cases basically. Like one is don't have a static IP is fine, but there is no possibility of a static IP. Maybe it's a remote location. They are connecting it through a 4G connectivity, SIM card connectivity, and there is a double netting, etc. You don't have a possibility to do port forwarding because of that. Then we have a solution for that scenario also, in which case we provide a software service called Gateway Software from Durang. You deploy that software on the location, on any one of the machines on the customer location. The machine configuration could be as simple as a Raspberry Pi to server, depending on the number of cameras that you are connecting from that location. So you simply take that piece of software, deploy it on the system there, then securely you can connect to that software from your command control center, discover the cameras of each location, add it from your command control center itself. So sitting in the command control center here, I deploy the software on the system at the location. Once that is deployed, I can locate cameras, add whatever cameras are to be monitored remotely. Now, the advantage here with the solution is that even if the customer has 500 cameras, you do not need to add all the 500 cameras into the platform for remote monitoring. Whatever cameras are critical, only those you can bring into the platform also. You have that flexibility. So you can pick and choose which cameras you would like to add to the platform and connect those cameras through the gateway software, which allows you to the connectivity in a secure mode through end-to-end encryption. So cameras are connected to the local gateway system, and through the gateway, you have connectivity to the Durang cloud platform. Then the agents in the command control center can monitor. So you have this choice of connectivity, whether the location has a public IP or does not have a public.
So in some of the cases, we have customers where like a retail chain with 400, 500 retail shops across the country. Some may have IP address and some may doesn't have static IP. So in those kind of scenarios, we can do mix and match and hybrid kind of a model. And also provide after hours nighttime intrusion detection through this process. So that way, it's a seamless for the end customer. What kind of a network that they are in and what kind of a IP address, whether static is available or not available. Still, we should be able to get all that feeds to the command control.
Yeah, and when we look at the events, when we are talking about intrusion detection, for example, recently, so whenever these events are triggering, typical scenarios you keep monitoring. So instead of doing eyeball monitoring, which is 24/7, it gives rise to attention deficiencies. You may miss what is happening in a fraction of a second as you move across multiple cameras. So having events getting triggered through the AI platform helps you in terms of ensuring that all events are tracked. So you don't miss any event that is happening because all of them are tracked. You have the event popping up on your screen automatically, even though you're not watching that camera live. If any event happens there, an intrusion or a loitering or somebody, a facial recognition event or a vehicle entering a number plate detection of a blacklisted vehicle, for example, comes up, then you automatically get this trigger on the screen. Then your energies can be focused on it, then track that. So we're moving away from eyeball monitoring to event-based monitoring, which gives rise to the better efficiencies and economies in terms of your number of agents required, intelligence of the agents, and the efficiency of these agents. So with centralized monitoring, what happens is that you will have a single screen command center page wherein any event that is triggered across any of these cameras, across multiple customers, pops up automatically on the screen along with the live view of that particular camera. So the agent doesn't have to dig through and say which camera it is and open up that particular camera. There is no need for all of that. Automatically, along with the event, an image of that event that happens. Like for example, if it's a blacklisted vehicle that's coming in, you have an image of that vehicle also. Pop-up of the live view also comes of that particular camera automatically on the screen. So you can actually review that, see what is going on, which side is going, etc. For example, then you can take appropriate action on it further. So these are real-time notifications. This is not post idea, so it's all in real time. You don't immediately you will be able to take appropriate action on each incident. You have a workflow that you can define also. Like for example, if a sequence of events happen, then you can trigger something else. For example, like a person enters on first area, then gets into the second area, then gets into the third area. Let's say if that flow happens within this period of time, then you want to trigger something else. So maybe escalation levels vary. If he enters this area, maybe escalated to X person. If he comes into the second zone, then maybe escalated to a different guy. The process could vary as an example. So all of these are possible through the command center view that the system provides. It's easy also to filter through metadata when something happens. For example, you can also do a lot of analysis on the events that got triggered to provide more insights to your customers. Like for example, when the same incident like this happens, how many times typically a blacklisted vehicle is coming over a period of last 3 months? You can provide that information to the customer. So it's kind of more value that you're bringing into your customer, not just that, okay, this event happened, so this is the action I have taken. Yes, we definitely need to take action on each event that happens. But if you are able to provide this analysis or if a trend over a period of time and say, yeah, this is what is happening, the customer would appreciate more. And that's the more value added service that you can provide to your end customers. So overall, in terms of using solutions which are derived for remote party services provides you the advantages of improved accountability and oversight. So you have, because you have a track of everything that is happening in the platform, you have audit logs. Like we also spoke about users and user management. You have audit logs of who all have logged in at what points of time, what is the action taken, etc. This is all enabled by the basic electronic security, which is the CCTV cameras, but then reinforced by AI, the artificial intelligence that is working in the background on all these camera feeds, basically, no matter what type of camera it is. On any of these camera feeds, the AI works at the background to look for anomalies or events that we specify to look for as per requirement of each customer, then triggers these events. So it gives rise to standardizing of operations also, because you have a platform or a system that is generating these events. You don't get false alarms. You can train your agents easily in terms of what is the action to be taken. If it is this customer, along with the camera, the pop-up of the event, you could have a pop-up of the contact people or what needs to be done along with that particular event. So it makes it easy for the agent to take an immediate action on it. Along with these real-time agents, there is also a possibility to integrate alarms that come from sensors. You might have deployed, the customers might have deployed already some sensors, for example. It could be a vibration sensor, a PIR sensor, whatever. So these sensors, whatever are there already, they can also be integrated with our platform. If you have used sensors, you would have noticed some of the issues that you typically face. Sometimes the sensors go bad, you don't even know. Maybe they send too many alarms each time. So you have a way to integrate that along with the Durang platform, which helps as a point of another one more point of validation. So anytime an event is triggered from a sensor, you can attach that sensor in the Durang platform to a camera. So the system provides you an image also along with that sensor. Whenever the sensor event is triggered, you get an image of that camera view, so you can quickly validate what has happened. So part of it can be automated as well required. But as a first step, the moment sensor event is triggered, it comes to the Durang platform, takes the image of the associated camera, provides it to the agent when this comes up. You have a visual validation of whether that event is true or not. So that integration with sensor and alarms is an important aspect of the platform as well. We also have a talk down, like for example, it's kind of a one-way audio. So you see an intrusion, you can say, let the agent announce to him that you are being watched, and then he will go away. But you have a possibility to do a two-way audio also, like to the person you can engage and talk to him and deter him if he says something. No, I've come here for inspection. It could be a guard, for example, that's doing his duty. So you can say that, yeah, you can talk to him, get a proper response and close that incident. It could be a two-way audio possibility as well. So multiple points and the benefits through the usage of a system like Durang when you're using when you're doing remote monitoring of the premises. Finally, it is basically a flexible solution and a platform that provides. It's not just one product. We can reuse the existing infrastructure because most of the cameras, most of the locations already have cameras, as we said. So if it's a new deployment, yeah, we have the cushion of luxury of selecting which camera we want to place where. But with our platform, there is no such limitation. You can have any existing camera getting connected to the platform. The AI also can be customized, like we spoke about. Whatever is the need according to the customer, we can customize the events getting triggered. We have integrations with external applications, with the sensors, with any other third-party system. Also, maybe your ERP, you want the system notifications to go to some other ERP system automatically, and through an API call it can go. So it's working in tandem with your other applications. Does not work in silo. We work as a technology partner, not having to worry about technological complexities, etc. So we are a solution provider for a technology. We don't have to worry about the advancements in technology because AI keeps changing every day, and we are on top of it. We develop taken the complexity away, taken the unknowns away from you. We develop, improve our models, and you automatically get the benefit of improved network models as and when we provide the update to the platform. You automatically get the benefit of using those and enhancing the service levels to your customers. So with that, we conclude the presentation and probably take up any questions.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Srini. Yes, the last point, Durang is not a CCTV vendor, so they don't sell cameras, they sell technology. They sell solutions to your problems. So there's one interesting question that I like to, I'm appealing all the participants. If you have any questions, please put it on Q&A. And you would like to speak to Vamshi, just raise your hand. There is one icon you can see, raise hand. Just click there. You can interact with Vamshi and Srini online. So I will take one question that is there from Sonia Mittal. She says, how VMS remotely monitor the grid? They have many grids across. So can VMS be effective in monitoring the grids? To use, Vamshi.
Uh, yes, definitely. Yes, it is possible to connect to your multiple grids, multiple locations can be connected through the Durang platform. Then you can monitor them, all of those locations centrally. We have the possibility, as we said, to group cameras. We have some specific cameras. You can group those specific cameras also as a group and monitor. You can create users and give specific users access to only specific grids, for example, or specific cameras. All of that is possible. We'll probably connect with you offline after the webinar today and then take up any specific questions that you may have. If that does not address you, please ask now itself. Otherwise, we'll connect with you.
Okay, Imtiaz, again, as we mentioned, is saying CCTV is always pitched, CCTV and solution pitched to reduce the the guard and cost. So that's the dilemma when it comes to guarding. Okay, yeah, more cameras, you reduce the manpower and guarding. Different, they don't really come out with a solution. I also have a similar because I spoke to while we inviting. He says, we have a fear, whether this technology can help us to get more revenues and can we offer them as a solution, or we have a fear whether we are going to reduce our manpower. So that's again, it's a common fear that everybody has it. I think you answered in many ways to that question. So,
But to reinforce it again, Dominic, remember like a couple of years back, like almost 1.5 decade back, when small cameras started coming up into the field. That's when the question happened that will these cameras will eliminate the physical guarding. It did not happen in last 15 years, and it is not going to go away for next 20 years. We are very confident about that. See, the human involvement in the guarding of premises and guarding of the residential complexes, large building, commercial establishments, you cannot eliminate the human, presence in there as guards. The only thing that this is going to enhance is basically it will give more ability to prevent those events that are preventable. When a guard is actually moving around and doing rounds in the periphery, he is 1 kilometer periphery, it takes 1 hour for them to go around and come back. But meanwhile, if there is a intrusion or climb through the wall, they don't even know. So that's where our solution will look at it, and then that event will be transferred to the command control, and the command control can inform to the QRT team, and QRT team can rush to the location and then do the prevention of the theft or prevention of the loss. So this is going to help the customers much more than just mere the physical security. And this is going to enhance the service offering of the physical security company in combination with the remote guarding. So this is something that is changing now. It is not going to whether the perception is about this is going to go into a loss kind of a thing for the remote guarding. It is inevitable that someday, if the remote guarding company is not going to do, the customer himself will take it up.
Yeah, that's the right answer. So it's only complementing. It's not going to. Yes, technology. If you don't adopt, what happens? So you left behind. Someone else they take the position, move forward. So Sripad, he is from Hyderabad. Had mentioned in the chat. So Sripad is asking, does the VMS detect object movement? Like in critical areas, we want alarm. If any human movement is observed, is it possible through VMS?
Absolutely, it's a perfect question, and that's what our expert is. You get a lot of times with motion detection based alerts. Whether it's a tree that is waving, whether it is dog passing by in the field of view of the camera, you will get a false alarm. In Durang, we confidently can say that if you select in the configuration for a particular camera, saying that in this camera field of view, I want the human detection to happen if there is an intrusion, and you can also schedule it. If it is from 8 o'clock in the evening, from morning 8 o'clock, you can schedule that, and that's the only period it will do the monitoring. It will send a proactive real-time alerts to the people that are specified in the system. And there is no limit for how many number of people you can specify in the system. That's one of the things that we want to emphasize. We don't limit you how many users you want to create. We don't limit you how many users should get the alerts. So those are all very free to use to the customers. And the eliminating those false alarms will actually increase your opportunity to reduce the loss.
Great. Sripad is in Hyderabad. I think we can probably have one-to-one interaction with them. And
Yes.
Sripad, Vamshi and Srini is also from Hyderabad. So we also have a plan to schedule our next webinar on 15th December. Customization and tailoring, adopting video management software. So video management software, as Vamshi said, I with my experience, Durank has been so flexible. They can design a software or the particular feature that you're looking. It's not a tailor-made boxes like ready-made. We can offer only this, but they can. That's what the topic we are talking about: customization and tailoring, adopting video management services. So we'll be doing on 15th of December at the same time. So I would urge my friends who are here to probably log in and register. So, any more questions? Any would like to answer? Put a question to Srini or Vamshi. Most welcome. Either you raise your hand so that I can take them, take it online. Waiting for a minute. So, if anybody one question from Muralidhara, Muralidhara, you can go ahead and talk. Sir, you can speak. Mr. Muralidhar, you can speak.
You are on mute. Please unmute yourself and talk, sir.
Yeah, you have to unmute, sir. Yeah.
Now, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Muralidhar. I'm a senior safety consultant and a Government of India approved safety auditor. As I have attended so many webinars conducted by national level institutes and all those things, this is CCTV or something, surveillance is nothing but artificial intelligence, is it not? And it is better to understand its merits and demerits during its operation or maintenance, as so many things are discussed. It will be highly appreciated if these things, because in my experience, any organization which have installed CCTVs for surveillance or anything, they will not be having any written procedures for its effective monitoring, operation or maintenance. I think that will be the first issue which can be addressed by the speakers. Is it not, sir? Please correct me if I am wrong.
You have brought it up an excellent point. That is why in Durank, we have a separate module built into the system for the health management of the entire infrastructure that is connected. Even if you have 100 locations with 5,000 cameras, all those cameras are live monitored automatically by the system if there is a field of view change, or if the camera is recording or not, if the camera is up and running or not. This is one of the biggest problem in the industry, where you put the cameras, you forget about it, and after a month you go back and try to look for some evidence, and then the camera was down for last 10 days and you don't even know. So that is adopted by Durank in the platform level itself to monitor the health of cameras and connected devices. Connected devices, I mean by the gateways that actually feed the data into the cloud. So all these are live monitored perfectly on a real-time basis.
Good, sir. It's a good practice. That's why, because when I am conducting auditing, they will not even think of how many surveillance cameras are installed. There will be no record, no monitoring business, nothing. That's why I raised the point. Thanks for your answer.
It's a wonderful insight, sir. Like, we went to one of the customer, I don't want to name or anything, but they have like almost 48 NVRs, and they have 48 mouse that are there in the command control center. And if you ask like particular camera, that guy will look for the number on the mouse.
Yes.
And say these are the 32 cameras connected to that mouse. and then he will bring it up. In Durang, you don't have that problem. Everything is on the system with one single mouse. You can, group up all the cameras by floor. You can group up cameras by different locations. Say you have 60 locations and then front camera, which is the gate camera of 60 locations. Those 60 cameras you group together with one click, you can watch all of them live. And similarly, you can do subdivision of those groupings, and logically those groupings will be available for you anytime to watch.
Good, sir. Good practice. Good installation.
I think
Thank
that's
you, sir.
a nice topic, what you said, Srini. Designing of VM, entire CCTV design using VMS, like the grouping. This is what you said, when you go to any control room of any hospital or a campus or institute, you'll find huge monitors in a room. As I said, so many mouses everywhere. They actually don't know that they can bring down, you can actually bring down all that into a simple, one window, and you can still monitor and effectively. I went to an hospital, there's an incident in the floor, the nurses and the, everybody coming and asking the security guard, I want the information, but security guard is lost. You don't know how to pick up that incident, and they were searching all the recording and going, it's such a serious, but so simple. But I think we need to, as Muralidhar said, we need to come out with, the system and process, how to design effectively by using, having just 40, 100 cameras in every mall. But, you are struggling to get that information in a sense. By the time you find that incident or, you lost that, some chain snatching or somebody snatching away your bag in a mall or something, the crowd you lost. But these are the quick response that you can get from VMS. That's why we are trying to do this continuous webinars, educating people and all that. I'm sure one day, like Mr. Muralidhar with his own experience said, and Sonia is raising certain question, whether we'll achieve what we really want to educate people beyond CCTV. What is that you can do beyond just monitoring? That's what our objective is. We as a expert in this, and we will keep coming out with various series, try to address everyone's concerns. So next, as I said, we will come back and talk about how do we customization the video analytics or AI, how can we improve our AI in your existing system. So thank you, gentlemen. I think 1 hour 15 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Muralidhar sir. Very valid question. We'll look forward to see you again. And thank you for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for sparing your time and to weekend and coming, and look forward to see you again. And as I said, 15, we'll send you the invite, and we'll keep coming out with more and more series on VMS. Thank you, Vamshi. Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Lakshmi. We have more people working on the background, and we will try and answer any question that is left unattended. We will come back to you. And Srini and Vamshi's mail IDs, we have already mentioned in the chat box. You can pick up, and we will come back to you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.